Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Brad.
D- Why are you chewing like an absolute sicko? Jeremy, stop it. Seriously. That is foul.
What's foul? I'm eating. It's not foul.
It's disgusting.
Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
Even watching you eat is disturbing.
Don't be mean.
Jeremy,
Brad,
let's welcome all of our fans to episode 30 of the Brigadier Bro Bob's Running Podcast.
Briggity.
Jeez.
Oh. Wow.
Are you on high blood pressure medication?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Your head looks like it's about to explode. What is that?
It's
What is wrong with you? And you're snorting now.
it's the statue from the Goonies. It came from Astoria, Oregon. My friend went there.
Okay, why is its penis on?
So good. I snuck it in there, didn't I? That's what she said. Oh, buddy.
I'm now honestly 100% convinced the reason we haven't blown up is because of every one of these stupid episodes that you're involved with. I have to put it's not made for children, and you ruin our demographics. We get demonetized because of your foul language and penises flashing across the screen here.
Pretty sure that has nothing to do with it. But we're making it.
Wait a second. 100% profanity lessens the what is it called? The algorithm to put you into people's feeds.
Okay, well, let's stop doing that then. You can beep us.
Oh, sure. Put it on me again. The guy who does everything of the podcast.
You don't bring what I bring, which are the penises and the curse words.
Well, technically, I did bring my penis with me.
Now we're demonetized, Brad. Thanks for saying the word.
Well, I'm pretty sure penis is not profanity.
I mean, it depends on who you're asking.
I mean, possibly cock, balls, ding dong,
wow.
schlongs.
I don't know that schlong would be. That's not a bad word.
Yeah.
But look, you're talking about how people aren't like latching onto us. Care to tell our viewers who our most famous viewer is at this point?
Well, I mean, let's not blow it out of proportion. He looked at one video, one TikTok clip.
But Brad, that's a start.
Well, listen, he didn't even like it.
But he could. So have you gone, since it's TikTok, I'm assuming that he has TikTok. As Brigadier Bro Bob's, have you gone onto his TikTok and liked his stuff?
I don't do that.
But you should in order to get him to like our stuff back, and then
maybe you should take control of that.
Well, Brad, give me the login for the Brigadier Bro Bob's, and I'll gladly do it. I don't have that information. It's all on you, bro. But we're talking about anyways, Herm from Herm Runs. When you told me that when I was in the grocery store, I was getting cat litter and some sweet gummies. You told me about your endeavor into the ultimates.
The ultimates.
Yeah, I didn't get the ultimates, but I just got regular. But these are still like phenomenal.
Then I can guarantee you're not going to recover as fast as I did.
Cat, get down.
So you think
Uh,
we might be demonetized because of penis nicknames?
Not
Like
schlong.
Anaconda, Banana, the baseball bat, Big Boy, Big Guy, Boner, Bratwurst, your bulge,
Bratwurst.
Chode, Chub, Chubby, Chuck
But
Dickens,
chode isn't your ding dong.
Chuck Dickens, Cock Dick, Dickus Hilton. I don't even know what that one is. Dingaling, Ding Dong, Disco Stick,
See, I don't think so. I mean, you've got a
Dong,
couple in there.
Dong,
Like, so
eggplant emoji in, I don't even know what those are, brackets. Your Excalibur, your fire hose,
is
your
my Excalibur looking
Frankenbeans,
for a sheath?
your Frankenbeans.
Frankenbeans.
Here's one. The Gerald. When he can't get it up, it's a play on geriatric. The
Beat this.
the Jerkin, the Goldfinger, groin, hose, Indiana Bones, the Jackhammer, Jimmy Johnson, John Johnson, Joystick Jr., Junk, Knob, Knob Goblin,
The knob goblin.
Kroll the Warrior King.
Is that what you call yours, Brad? It's so damn random.
Leroy, Little Guy, Little Man, Lollipop, Hard On, Hammer, Hammer of Thor, Hercules, Joystick, Lollipop, Long Dong Silver, Long Stick, Magic Mike, Magic Stick, Magic Wand, Meat Stick, Member, Mini Me, Moby Dick, Mount Vesuvius, One-Eyed Pete, One-Eyed Monster, One-Eyed Trouser Snake, Package, Pecker, Peen, PP, Pepperoncini? How do you say that?
Pepperoncini?
Pepperoncini. Phallus, Pickle, Piece, Piston, Prick, Pocket Rocket, Popsicle, Private's Python, Rod, Rumple Foreskin, Salami, Sausage, Schlong, Schwans, Shaft, Skin Flute, Snake, Spicy, Soprasita? Sata? Soprasata? Stick Shift, Stiffy, Third Leg, Thor, Tree Trunk, Trouser Snake, Twiggenberries, Tuna Can, Wand, Wang, Wee Man, Weenie, Wee Wee, Wiener, Wiener Schnitzel, Willie, and finally, but not last, Zeus.
But you forgot purple-headed yogurt schlinger.
Now we're 100% demonetized. Like, these were all safe for men's health, and you just went straight.
You said cock in there.
Yes, like a chicken.
That's not how it's being. No. It's all
We
about the
don't know that
context.
there's boner, bratwurst.
I don't think boner is that bad. Like, you can use boner in the context that you made a boner as in like a mistake.
Dingling, ding dong.
I don't think those are that bad. Like, oh, my dingling got some chafage on it. You know, it is what it is. Like, we can go super sterile with it and just be like my penis or my glans. Isn't that what it's called? The glands or whatever. Glands. Sorry.
Glans. It's like a German ding dong.
I was thinking
Hans
like,
meet Glans. Oh, who's Glans? He's my schlong in my pants.
This episode is really off to a good start, I think. Wow.
From here on out, I'm calling my penis Glans.
Well, I try to put a little spice on it. Jeez.
Hello, Helga. I want you to say hello to Glans.
Friend of Hans.
This episode might need to be totally scrapped. Like, if I actually took the time to go through and beep out what shouldn't be here, holy smokes! Can you? I'd be editing until the release date.
You're gonna have to blur the penis from the statue. Just across the screen. Wow.
You are
It's
real.
art. It's
You
it's
have
art.
you have ruined this episode, Jeremy.
I've ruined it. You decided to come up with a list of long names.
From Men's Health.
That's it. But that's most certainly not all of them. It is.
No, it was just 100 penis nicknames.
Yeah, it's not anywhere close to being enough. They didn't have glons on there.
Were you trying to say something else, obviously?
Glands. No, I was thinking Hans, and then I was like, don't say glons. So it's like a Freudian slip.
Wow.
So right. I was like trying desperately not to say glons, and I ended up saying it anyway. So,
interesting.
It is what it is.
Jeremy,
it got us some laughs.
I mean, I candidly, that has been the most important thing of this entire podcast is the amusement I get out of
episodes. I think
I'll be honest. Out of 29 episodes, this is number 30.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. Reading the penis nicknames might have been the highlight of 30 episodes of recording.
I mean, do we come back next episode at 31 with a list of our own to build off of it and say, hey, look here, you guys at, where was it? Men's Health?
Yeah. I feel it's best that we just let this penis go flaccid.
They were not exhaustive at all with the number of names that they could have come up with.
And it's time for this penis to go flaccid and be tucked away for tonight, Jeremy.
I don't do a lot of tucking, as I can't.
Okay, just go along with the play on words.
Brad.
A pun, if you will.
No pun. No glons.
Intended. Why don't you catch me up on your training, Jeremy Clobber?
So, Brad, I doubled the number of days that I had last week. I went
so
from
you did
1
2
to 2. Those 2 days, I did 20 minutes the first day. So a smidge over 2 miles, right? I was like 2.2 or 2.3 miles or something like that. Probably not even that far.
And how fast?
20 minutes.
I know that's the time. How fast were you running?
8:37s, I think. And then you gave me a hard time about it.
Jeremy, just think of it this perspective. I pulled up a calendar today. Do not put something else in your mouth, you fucking glons.
What? You can't even tell I'm eating anything.
Yes, I can, Jeremy.
All right, go ahead.
Take that and just swat it right off the table.
No. All right, go ahead.
You don't take out another one. So, no. Jeremy, I was looking at a calendar.
Brad.
You've managed to demonetize us, ruin our availability to subscribers in spreading this wealth and joy to other people. You've ruined that. Now you're ruining my evening.
How?
Jeremy, how about we just start without the podcast started? Jeremy, cut it out. What is your problem?
I pulled 4 out. I'm doing 4. All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
You genuinely have no self-control. Zero.
Wait. Tell me and tell the viewers what it is exactly that you had to eat yesterday. Talk about self-control.
Yeah, So I woke up, had 2 cups of coffee for breakfast,
Okay.
ran 8.5 miles.
Okay.
Then I got a venti coffee from
Okay.
Starbucks.
So that's the third coffee.
Yep. And then I went to on the way home from Levi's basketball game, ordered Chick-fil-A. Had a Chick-fil-A sandwich and a large fry.
Okay.
Fantastic. And then my calf was hurting me pretty bad yesterday after my run,
Got a significant calf cramp. Yeah.
right? Which I'm 99.93% sure it was from being dehydrated. Because the
Okay.
evening before, I went into the steam room, so this would have been Friday night. Steam room, no water after, no water till the coffee before my run.
Yeah.
Surely not enough water for an 8.5.
I would agree.
So calf cramp, knew that I needed water, knew that I needed some nutrients to nurse that flat tire, put some air back in it. And so ate Chick-fil-A sandwich, bottle of water, large fry. Then I had Albanese Ultimates. Not many. I would say like maybe 10 total gummy bears.
Okay. That's a lot. Look, that's solid.
I think 7 is like a recommended serving.
So you had a serving. Okay.
Yep. And then I had an 8 count of chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
And then I had a little bite of cookie. And then I had another 8 count of chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A. And then I had some more water. And then we went to Whole Foods and I bought 3 cases of Liquid Death, Armless Palmer, and peach, whatever. Rest in Peach.
Rest in peach. Yeah.
And then we came home and I had another 8-pack of Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets. And then I had another couple bites of cookie and a bunch more water. Bed. That was it. That was my whole day right there.
So you had 24 nuggets.
Yep.
And a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah.
That's
what's your point?
That's special.
So think
Talk about restraint. Talking about restraint here.
Right. So put it in this perspective.
Yeah.
Look at how little self-control I had yesterday in eating chicken nuggets, yet I am able to pull it all together for this podcast, which you can't even do that.
Brad, that's because I don't let go until I have this podcast. This is my moment for me to relax and unwind and partake in 4 gummy bears.
I have a hard time believing that anybody's watching this or listening to this to hear or watch you eat.
Who knows? Maybe somebody's got an eating fetish.
Okay, then we should put up a paywall.
Okay.
We should make, like, this is going to be an OnlyFans podcast. We're going to be the only OnlyFans podcast about running.
Dude, and I don't mind, like, having my feet up on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, getting back to my running, speaking of, because you asked me about my running, and I did 2 days.
I did. Give it to me.
2 days of running. The first day, you were like, you're giving me a hard time about running 8:37.
Yeah, because then you interrupted me, and I was going to give you a little lesson on running here.
I didn't interrupt you. I merely had myself a gummy bear.
That's interrupting.
And look, you're drinking on the... Because that's significantly different.
You have to drink throughout the day. Stay hydrated.
You have to eat throughout the day to stay fed.
I'm 100% sure you've eaten enough calories today.
I had 2 fish tacos today. I had probably 15 gummy bears. I had some oatmeal. Yogurt with some granola.
Yep.
and a slice of pizza.
That's quite a bit, Jeremy.
I had one slice of pizza.
Mm-hmm. That also was half of a large pizza.
No,
They
it
cut
was
it into two
a
pieces.
regular slice of Domino's pizza.
There's no way it was as small as what you just did. No, no.
I mean, it's probably longer, but it wasn't much bigger than that.
Okay. Keep going.
So I ran
So
8:30. So what are you going to talk to me about my 837? Go ahead.
you go out like this every single time. You come back, your Achilles feels worse than when you started, which is all perpetuating itself to the point that you're barely going to make it through this half marathon.
No, Brad, I don't always. What do you mean I always go out and hurt any run?
How
If it
fast
is
did you run today?
8:45.
So you're saying pace doesn't have anything to do with strain on your Achilles?
Nope,
That
not even a little bit.
really?
When you run on your toes, Brad, it doesn't matter if I'm running 6-minute pace or 10.5-minute pace.
That's
It
not
does,
true. Because the faster you go, the more force you're putting into the ground, and the more force that the ground is kicking back up into you, which in turn is more stress on your Achilles.
Brad, let me tell you, the ground knows better than to kick anything back into me.
Yeah, okay.
That's number one.
Uh-huh.
But number two, so okay, fine, I get it. Yes, there's probably more stress than 10-minute pace, but to be honest, 10-minute pace. When I started my run, I felt my Achilles, so it's no different.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm
And
not
so
going. I'm
you
not
say,
putting
I've
off.
got to make up as much today as I can because this might be my last run for a week because I'm going to re-injure myself.
No, because it's going to hurt regardless. That's why. I wish you had a chronic issue like I have. That's been with you for, let's say, I don't know, 25 years, and it's just getting worse.
Okay. Aortic stenosis. Boom.
And how often has that affected your ability to run?
I don't know. I haven't been to a cardiologist in a couple of years now.
Exactly.
Mind you,
How many
Jeremy,
times? How many
hold
times
on.
has my Achilles
Hold
been
on.
an issue?
I don't think anybody has ever died from an Achilles injury. I'm
You
pretty
haven't
sure
died yet.
people have died from heart conditions.
I don't discount that, but I'm saying you haven't died
So,
yet. But are you
okay.
dead?
Right. Jeremy, we have wasted an inordinate amount of time, one, talking about
You, dude.
what'd you call it, a gloss? Glons?
And so anyway, today I went out for a run. I ran Friday, took off Saturday, ran today. I ran 4 miles, 35 and some change minutes, so 8:45 pace. I think it was like 8:35:02 or something like that. 01, I don't even know. The entire time I just felt awful. Just awful. So I don't even know what to do with that.
Probably because you haven't run in 4 weeks.
I've run 3 times
Exactly.
in 6 weeks.
And you think then in 6 weeks, well, the third run, after taking a week off, I'm surely going to feel amazing this next go round.
I mean, why wouldn't I? I was well rested. My watch definitely told me I was rested.
Because your legs are trash right now.
It has nothing to do with my legs. It's been, well, at first, it's been a really long week. And I think that's catching up with me. Like, I know that I didn't really go to work, but being at home with a sick kid for more than half the week, not stressful. Sleeping on the couch for 3 nights last week because Elliot was sleeping in my spot. It's not stressful. So
You could have slept in his room.
I try. I can't do it. I get too hot up in his room.
Uh-huh.
So so I sleep better actually downstairs, although it's not good sleep regardless. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna run tomorrow. So I'm gonna get to 4 times this week coming up. That's the plan for this week. Get to 4 tomorrow. A nice easy like 20-25 minutes. We'll see how my legs feel. If they don't feel good at all, we'll do 20 minutes. Run Wednesday, run Friday, run Sunday. That's the plan. So, and I'd like to have my longest day be Sunday and have that be at 40 minutes.
Okay.
So 5 minutes longer than I ran today.
Let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens. So what about your running? It's going really well, Brad. I'm
It
happy
has
for
been.
you. You've gotten
Inevitably,
fit really quickly.
you kind of turn a corner where you feel like, wow, like even the easy runs are feeling really good.
I was there before I got hurt. Yeah, I know it.
Just feeling good right now. Like I don't know how else to put it.
What kind of mileage did you hit this week?
Uh, basically 30, like 29.
Jesus Christ, that big cat that we just got is a menace.
Mm-hmm.
He bullies Eddie.
So I did 29. The highest week I've had since knee surgery is 30, but that was off of 70 days. So I was like, I think I was half a mile short off of 6 days this week. So
Yeah,
I'm happy with it.
that's good.
It's all collective.
And you're running
So
mostly on the trails, or are you still doing treadmill stuff this week?
mostly, I think it was about half and half this week.
Okay. All right.
So nice long run outside. I mean, I guess 8.5 miles is a long run.
It is for us, man.
Yeah.
Got to take it in stride. Got to take it with what it is. 8.5 is a good run.
So was happy with it.
I can't wait till I get to double digits.
Like in a week.
No, I'm talking about long run. I think.
Well, you haven't even hit double digits in a week yet.
I will. I mean, I will this week.
About 12.
I'll be. What? I won't hit 12. I'll be at like 10.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 12. Maybe 12. Like, let's see. If I do 40 minutes, let's just say that's 4.5 miles.
4.5. Yeah.
Okay. And then another 5. Yeah, that's 12 miles. So I'll have roughly 30%, 33% of what you're running this week coming up. You think you're going to get to 36 this week?
36? No. No.
Come on, man.
This will be my last week of build. I think, I don't know. Anything over 32, I think will be good.
I think 36 is over 32, Brad.
I know, Jeremy.
See? I say some stuff.
I wore on Sunday. Man, it was so nice. Or Saturday. I wore the brand new Alpha Fly 3.
Uh-huh.
Really, really nice.
Uh-huh. It's called shoe doping, Brad. Of course it's going to feel nice.
It was, yeah. And so for like being the supposed fastest shoe ever created, what like they always come with a shoe bag for the high-end Nikes.
Uh-huh.
What do you think the shoe bag looks like for the fastest shoe ever made?
Like one of those old 80s style shirts that is just like, got all the holes in it and you can see nipples through. I think that's what, like a big holy bag.
Colors, Jeremy.
Oh, you asked what does it look like? I'm giving you like description here. Gray.
Gray.
Yeah.
Not like, I don't know. Maybe even the colors of the shoe or
Possibly.
something that
I don't know Brad, I don't keep up with the stuff because I don't wear those shoes.
Something that inspires and just says speed.
Orange.
Red, like Lightning McQueen. Orange.
Like
electric
orange.
Green. Lime green.
Well,
neon colors.
Just show me. You want to show off your shoes. Go ahead.
A
Gray.
brown bag.
Well, it's brown. Looks gray to me. That's a giant bag.
No, it's not.
I think it's huge.
No, it is not. It holds 2 shoes.
So you carry your shoes around in that bag?
No, this just what it came in. So that was in the box.
Well, I think this segues pretty perfectly into what you wanted to talk about today.
Exactly, Jeremy.
Which is what, Bradford? Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the right way to couch this. Would it be like, I'm trying to think of how it would look spelled out and just across as a thumbnail here. Would it be ethics in running or morality in running?
Oh man. Well, there are two different things. A moral is a standard, and ethics is also a standard. So, they're two different things, Brad. Like, I think moral, as in like a specific internal guideline, right? And then
Well,
ethics is how you like act according to that, right? So the
but I think
ethics
on the basis of this and our conversation, the two are a bit
synonymous.
commingled.
Um,
I think it's
I would think
commingled. So
I think that we would go with ethics versus like morals. Right? Morals is like thou shalt not kill. You're not going to kill somebody. Your moral like high ground. You're going to like
right. So,
that
but I'll get
ethical
into it
ethics
in
is more like
why I think that morality plays a role here. One, because it's how consumers work.
yeah.
So, like, does your moral compass allow you, like, make you think about the ethical component of businesses, people that you want to spend money with, people that you want to cheer for, and then even the moral standard of like if you have an opportunity, say like influencers. So
Yeah.
I'm 100% convinced that the majority of these influencers that are just like jacked to the gills running 2:38 marathons are just like doped until their eyeballs turn green. And I don't think that your eyeballs actually turn green, but
Well, that's good. That would be a dead giveaway. So I don't know that it would. No, maybe I would venture to say that the people who are like making that their career, making that their livelihood, doing that. I mean, yes, 2:38 is fast, but I don't think it's like inhumanly fast. I think it's
is it inhumanly fast for somebody that lifts like can that is 230 pounds of just looking like the Rock?
probably just because like your like efficiency has gone out the window with that.
Yep.
That you're carrying around so much weight. So probably, but what guys do you see or gals running 2:38 that are 220 pounds? I guess I'm not following the right people.
I think there's quite a few of them.
Huh.
And this all comes back to, I mean, I think I'm skipping to the end of this entirety of the conversation in the fact that if there's a financial incentive, people are incentivized to cheat.
Oh, sure. For anything, whatever it may
Right.
be.
And so from a social media influencer that is just ripped, and so every time you see a picture of them with their shirt off or 3/4 naked, like inherently you kind of stop and look and like, geez whiz, these people are just fucking jacked to the gills. And then
Yeah.
you see them running a marathon at, even call it 2:40.
So do you think
And
that they're actually running that time because they're juiced, or is it that they're like the course cutters who are like finding ways around
no,
being
they're
able having to do
no,
that?
I don't think that they're course cutters.
You don't think that like they start a race, they run for a little bit to
There's
get
no
like
way
across the
that
start
with as
line?
big as some of these social media influencers
I
are,
mean,
that
maybe.
nobody would say, like, all
Maybe
of a sudden this guy just disappeared in front of me.
maybe there are quadruplets.
Right. That makes sense. That makes
Just trying
sense.
to put it out there. Okay, go ahead though. Obviously, I'm being ridiculous.
So I'm just saying, ultimately, we'll kind of get in this a bit more in detail. It's specific to brands, but when you talk about social media, so when I was racing competitively in cycling, you had age groupers, not national champions, not people trying for the Olympics, doping and found guilty of doping, suspended by the U.S. Cycling Association to win local races.
Were you one of those people, Bradford? Is that why you quit
Nope.
cycling?
Nope. So, and you can
'Cause you
say,
got you
okay,
got
well,
pretty damn good.
I got decent, yeah. So, but you could say, okay, well, like that's cycling. Cycling is an inherent dirty sport. So, but I think cycling is just the one that's singled out more than others.
Sure.
So I don't think that it's historically I think if people were 100% transparent and honest, that it's more dirty than track and field is.
No, I think track and field is very dirty.
Right?
I have a really hard time looking at any like specific performance, especially ones that are like heads and shoulders above what anybody's been able to do in the past. And
Yeah,
that's
but cheating in that has happened for years.
oh,
So
I know.
Going all the way back to Laissez Viren was blood doping.
Look, like the women's 800-meter world record hasn't even come close to being touched from the 80s. Like that's from Russia. What I mean, what? Of course.
Yeah, but I mean, even Laissez Viren.
Well, sure. Like, was that proven? I don't know. I'm not up on that.
It wasn't even blood doping at that point. Wasn't even illegal.
So what was Pre doing then?
I don't know.
Was he probably beer doping?
Could be.
Push some beer in the blood makes you feel like you're not like the pain is lessened. Away you go.
So from an ethical standpoint, so for people like you and me, or even my daughter Kira, you want to be a track and field fan.
Yeah.
Like you want to be a fan of people and see people that do things what you perceive as right, that like put a benchmark out there, you know that they're working hard, then they have results, and you want to cheer for people. Like who wants to look at any sport and say, well, listen, like everybody's cheating and it's like I'm not going to watch, I'm not going to cheer for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, then it would be, I mean, the sport would be lost, right? So, like, would it stand to make, does it make any sense at all to have, like, a dual league where you kind of like they have with, like, bodybuilding, where you have your naturals and you have your not naturals, and you know those guys who are just freaking mass monsters, 5'8", 285 pounds, are not natural in the least, but you like to see what they can do and what they can accomplish. Like let those people go and like do all of that, and then you got the people who are natural, and you can tell that they're natural as they're not nearly as, I mean, possibly not nearly as cut, most certainly not nearly as large. And you have fans of both. And they share the same stage, but not at the same time.
Okay.
How different would that be?
I think.
And that would allow people to like truly be like, you're right. I want to see how far my body can go. I want to see how far the human body can go, and just be like, cool, we know exactly what you're about and we're for it.
Right. So, but don't you think because of the financial incentive of it, so if you bifurcate the sport where it's two divisions, you've got a performance enhanced division and a clean division, which I think they have in bodybuilding. They've got like a natural division, and then they just have like Mr. Universe.
Yeah. That's what I just said. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And so, but if there's a financial incentive for the clean people, they're still competing. There's still a financial incentive to win. So don't you think at some point those people, I'm guessing that even in the clean division of bodybuilding, that the clean people still cheat?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, yeah.
And so think of it like this. So when you and I were in college, creatine was just coming out. Like creatine wasn't huge until like it was in college. And in college, my freshman year, like with our athletic trainers, they even warned us against using creatine. That one, it may be a banned substance at some point sooner than later. Two, there was speculation that it dehydrated you to the point that there was like, I don't know, they picked out one person that died while he was on creatine and said like, this is a possibility for anybody taking creatine. Now, 20 years later, I think it's more than statistically proven that it's a normal supplement to take, that it has a benefit to you, but there's no detriment to taking it while you're a runner. It doesn't dehydrate you, doesn't do anything. All it does is help you store more water in your muscles.
Well, which is good.
And then at the end of our college, so that was people were taking that to be better. And they said, well, if it gets banned, like, we'll worry about it then.
Yeah.
So, and then when Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa were on this thing, Mark McGuire came out and said, like, I'm not on PEDs. I'm taking, what was it? Deer antler?
I don't remember, but
Yeah,
some
it was.
ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure it was called deer antler spray. And then everybody started on this deer antler spray shtick. And then, people are always willing to take things. People that say that they have a moral compass of how they act, they're willing to take things that are like on the cutting edge until they're banned.
Yeah.
So, and you do this in almost every aspect from, like if you're going to run a marathon, you want to make sure that you've got a really good training program, that you're eating right, that you're taking recovery supplements as needed, doing recovery, like foam rolling, compression boots, whatever it is. And then, like drinking protein 30 minutes after you finish a run to make sure that your muscles have enough protein to recover. Wearing the best shoes that you can afford to buy to run well, to cut off, like all of these things in the grand scheme of things, everything, unless you're doing performance enhancing drugs, is equating to, like in the grand scheme of a marathon, it's equating to a tiny component versus the amount of training that you do. What is it? A total of 5% is all of these other things.
5% is pretty significant.
I know, but so for you, and I know where you're going because you're saying, well, okay, shoes, right?
Well, it's not just
so do you
shoes,
think
though.
that we
But it's
do you
not
think
just
that we get a
shoes.
bigger benefit out of being 200 pounds and running in a carbon plated shoe, or just not eating gummy bears on a podcast
No, you're
and
right.
dropping 35 pounds?
You're right. But Brad, let me stop. It's not just the shoes. It's also like a socioeconomic standard as well. Like people can't, not everybody can afford to go get their like space boots to help like recover their legs. That helps. Like all of the stuff that people can afford to do. Like,
I think that there's been a lot of information saying that recovery boots don't help a lick.
well, yes, what I'm saying, but you get what I'm saying. Like, if you have the means to go out and have a massage every week, if you have those things and you can get a Theragun and you can go and get the nice shoes and you can go
Okay.
and continue to get shoes like as they need to be replaced or before
Yep.
they need to be replaced, staving off any kind of injury, like all of that plays into your ability to perform at the highest standard that you possibly can versus somebody else who may be on a shoestring budget.
I think
And
you're
it has to
still
run
finding
through.
small percentage points
Yes, but a
versus
small percentage on two people who, if you were to break it down, are about as equal, like let's just say ability-wise, as possible. But one person makes $32,000 a year, and the other person makes $500,000 a year, and can afford to do everything that they want to do. Get to a race a week ahead of time to like acclimate to the weather, to like recover, to rest, all that stuff. Like,
all right.
It plays a part.
So, but I would argue there are no two athletes with it would be physically impossible to find two athletes with the exact same whatever measurement that you're going to find, because you're going to say, okay, what's the metric say two people are the exact same ability?
Right.
So are they the exact same height?
Probably.
Are they the exact same weight?
Probably, yeah.
And they're the same physical makeup of between upper body muscle and lower body muscles?
Yep.
Bone density?
Perfect. Yep.
All of those things, including their propensity to
Brad,
being injured?
You and I, what we need to do is we need to adopt identical twins.
Yeah, okay. Uh-huh.
I take one and you take one, and we'll see how it all pans out in that one. So if anybody has identical twins that you're willing to give to us for the next 18 years, like your babies.
So I don't think that it's 100% certainty that identical twins have been the same VO2 max.
But we feed them the exact same, right? Well, as much as we can, because I can't afford the stuff that you guys do.
Oh boy, here we go. Uh-huh.
But like that's the thing. Like I feed him well. I take care of him. Like forget Elliot. Elliot's a lost cause at this point. He's never going to be a 4-minute miler.
Uh-huh.
And I get this kid, and it's just balls to the wall.
So then let's
5 minute
talk about
mile at 5 years old.
We've talked about the athletes component. What about companies? So like how do you feel from a like the ethical component of brands that you support like Nike? And
Mm-hmm.
so I'll preface all of this that I'm a huge Nike fan. So
Mm-hmm.
but with that being said, I don't agree with the ethical component of Nike. So the sweatshop labor that they've been called to carpet on, um, you know, like they've been prone to drop female athletes when they're pregnant, uh, and just saying that they're not the same performance level that they used to be. Um, you know, like I don't know, you can find another 20 things on Nike that you don't like.
Yeah.
So, but how different is Nike than from Adidas, which uses known sweatshops, versus New Balance, versus Under Armour, versus any of these companies? Like, is there an ethical like? Is there truly a company that has an ethical component that you can say, I believe in this company implicitly?
No, because I don't know the inner workings of any company. Like they can put out a good face. So let's like use. I did a little research, and
Well,
Patagonia. Patagonia seems to be like the one that everybody like acknowledges as being one of the more ethical companies, right?
and what makes them an ethical company?
That they're giving back to the communities, they're donating to charity, and I know that people are like, well, it's a write off, but they're still donating to charities, right? So they are helping,
So,
regardless
but
if
the
it's
majority of all of these companies donate.
okay. But I'm just saying that they promised to donate a certain percentage of their profits or of whatever it is. Apparently, they try to make quality materials that are not like fast fashion, right? That they don't come and
So,
they get worn out super quickly.
so,
And
but
fast fashion is a horrible one.
where are these materials being sourced from? Where are the garments being made?
That's right. Well, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, right? So like, and you can't just say that if it's made in America that it's necessarily ethical because look at like
Not in a worldwide economy where you don't know where all of the products are coming from. So
right, and
if you're
even with
Apple, if you're Apple computers, you are sourcing products from. You might even be sourcing a product from what is a like a quote unquote company in the United States that then is just subcontracting out other work to China or like wherever
well,
cheap labor is available.
well, think even in America we have not necessarily sweatshops, but we have people who are well underpaid at factories, like who are migrants. Like there are bunches of places that use illegal immigrants to do what they need them to do at a significant like cost
Well, I don't think that shoe
benefit.
companies do that.
Well, no, but it doesn't have to be a shoe company. It could be an apparel company, right? It doesn't have to be anything big. Like it doesn't have to be like a worldwide, even like world renowned company. It could be any small company too. It could be paying these people, pennies on the dollar for what they're getting.
Well, let's look at it from this perspective. I think the most hate in the world of running, as far as the ethical standpoint of companies, like the number one hated company is Nike, bar
Well,
none.
yeah, but look, everybody wants to be sponsored by Nike. Like if you say, "Oh, I got a Nike," not everybody, obviously, that's a generalization, but like people are striving to get sponsorships. And you're
It,
not, it's going to be hard pressed to turn down something if you're striving for it, even if it's a company that you don't necessarily represent, if that's the only one you have.
I get it. So, but when you talk about Nike, so they've then put in initiatives to change their like sweatshops, that they have this like ethical guideline as far as having every facility that is making Nike shoes is then audited by a third party. They have recycling initiatives, all of these things. So they put all of these pieces in place, but at the end of the day, they're a business that has to compete on a price component. Like pricing is a component of that. And in a publicly traded space, margins mean more than anything in that the entirety of the industry. And so
Okay.
you can take like all of these cons of what Nike is. And then you can look and you can say, okay, whether they mean it or not, here are the good things that Nike does.
They do a
Nike,
lot.
yeah, 100%. So, if you look in the number of female athletes that they sponsor worldwide, I would argue is second to none. I don't think that there's, worldwide in particular in track and field, there's anybody that sponsors more athletes than Nike.
Yeah.
They they have like environmental initiatives. They have huge donations. Like they do Rainbow Pride specialty shoes every season. They've
Yeah.
supported, like Colin Kaepernick. They had an entire Black Lives Matter initiative when that was going on. And so if you wanted to just focus on like the good components, you would say, well, listen, like show me other companies that were as invested in things that I believe in than Nike.
I get it. But they also have the funds to do it. Some of the smaller brands don't. As far as sponsoring more female athletes or whatever it may be, like if a smaller brand just isn't going to be able to do that. Could they do the initiatives with like LGBTQ people and do like the pride shoes or the pride apparel or whatever? Sure, they could most certainly do that. Could they give back to the community in any number of ways and donate and do all that stuff? Yes. Could they do the recycling piece? Who knows? Like it's expensive. Like to be able to produce those things and to gather the materials and do all that stuff, it's expensive. So to put that on another company that is a 1% as profitable or makes as much money as Nike, it's not.
Okay,
like,
so that company
feasible.
that does 1/10 of what Nike does, are they a more ethical or a less ethical company than Nike? Or
No,
is it
not
just
necessarily.
is it just an unlevel playing ground?
It's an unlevel playing ground. You have to take them for what they're able to do, not necessarily what they are doing. Like if they were scaled up as a Nike would be, maybe they would be able to do more, but they can't because they have to pay, or maybe they're paying they have to pay employees. I mean, that's what Nike does too. Like they have a ton of employees. They're offering a
In
ton
the
of jobs.
US?
Yeah, they're offering a ton of jobs to people. That's a benefit, right? But like smaller brands don't have that ability. So you can't, it's never going to be a 1-for-1. Just like
Okay.
like two athletes aren't going to be 1-for-1. Like companies can't be 1-for-1 either.
And so, do you remember the whole Mary Kane suing Nike, Alberto
Yep.
Salazar, and the Nike Oregon project?
Nike should sue Alberto Salazar for all the negative press that they received because of him.
Well, one, they backed him up until the very end.
I know they did.
They funded a portion of his legal defense.
Yep.
And then they essentially wrecked collectively because they supported Alberto Salazar, because they were only only results oriented. Like they literally ruined this woman's career.
Yep. I remember like she like suffered from eating disorders, mental health disorders, like all kinds of stuff. And like she had a ton of like potential. And I mean,
One of the greatest high school runners
yeah,
ever.
ever. And I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what she's doing right now.
Well, she came back a couple of years ago and ran some really good professional races. Yeah, and then I don't know if she's going to resurface, like around the Olympic trials or what.
I mean, maybe I don't. Who knows? Like if the potential's there, you just got to find a way to tap into it, right, and see where it takes. But like if you've at that level, if you miss out on like 4 years of training, how will you ever catch up?
Doping.
There you go. And her eyes will probably be green. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. I'm just kidding. I don't mean that. If anybody's listening, I don't want to get sued.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know, like ethics. But the thing, like we can also look at Nike giving you a damn shoe bag inside of your, like how much garbage is being produced? Like just throwaway.
Okay.
Like how many of those shoe bags do you have?
I mean, a ton.
Yeah, and how many do you use?
Okay, so but that's like a consumerism problem.
It is a consumerism problem, but you also are driving it through your continuing to produce the newest, greatest, and latest, and saying that you have to have it, and having all these people pushing it, and social media, and people don't think for themselves. And it's not necessarily their fault, right? I'm not saying it is, but like, if people want to take a stand, stop buying so much shit. And I can't say that I'm not part of it either, because I buy a ton of shit. But like, if you truly are about the ethics of a company, like, supporting it through your continued purchasing is like, it's a detriment to your messaging anyway.
So what about a company? Do you know the bracelet company Artican?
I don't.
So like, if you watch the majority of like major international meets, you'll see at least in every race, I would say 20% of the race, they have these beaded bracelets on.
Okay.
And then there's a 99% chance it was made by this company called Artican.
Okay.
Now, Artican, it basically, like, there's a whole story behind this, and it essentially revolves around, there was a college runner who had a teammate from Kenya. He had a handmade bracelet from Kenya on that he liked, started sourcing them from Kenya. He's made it into a, like a legitimate company where he doesn't do anything in the United States. So like, you can even order custom bracelets through him. And then he sources it directly through artisans in Kenya for them to make these bracelets. Supposedly they pay fair wages in Kenya. And then 10% of all the proceeds go back to clean water initiatives in Africa.
Okay. See, that sounds pretty ethical. But what exactly? So how much are these bad boys going for?
$28-$30.
And what is a fair wage in where they're made?
I don't know. I mean, this is always the debate. Like, this is why companies outsource, because in the United States, you're going to pay a federally mandated minimum wage and then a state mandated minimum wage. Like, or you could go to, who knows, somewhere in Africa or China and pay 50 cents an hour.
Right. And people will be happy to do it. Some people would. Right. But like, at what point do you as a company have to also say, it's not just about, I know if you're traded on like whatever,
New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah. Like, you have to get your stock, your people who own their stocks, you have to make money for them. But at what point do you stop saying, okay, to everybody, and say, let's take care of the people who are taking care of us. And maybe we don't make quite as much money, but they're also being able to put into the company as well, or they get part ownership or whatever it may be. Like, they're helping you out as much as, like, if not way more than you're probably helping them out. Like, so what's a fair wage? So like, if you give everybody, let's say like in Kenya, a fair wage for whatever is $5 an hour, right?
Okay.
So you're paying these people $5 an hour. They can make 3 bracelets in an hour, and they're sold for $25 a bracelet, right? I don't know. Is there health insurance involved in all this? What's the overhead? I don't know all that. So I don't know how much profit. Let's just say that they're getting 30% profit. Like, if you take 5% of that away and they're making 25% profit, that's still a good amount of profit, and you can just put it back into the people. I don't know.
So all of these things come down to the same thing that I keep coming back to. If there's money involved, there's an incentive to cut corners. There's an incentive to take advantage of people. There's an incentive to cheat. So, but is it, from Nike's perspective, I'm really conflicted on this from a moral standpoint. But so Nike takes advantage of labor in China, correct?
Yep.
So sweatshops, like, it could be kids working in the sweatshops, which I think was the big one back in the 90s or in the early 2000s, or just that their wages are just beyond putrid. But is that a Nike problem, or is that a Chinese government problem? That the Chinese government, so in the United States, we don't allow we have child labor laws.
Right.
We have federally mandated minimum wages. We have, we have all of these protections for laborers. And so why is it Nike's responsibility to then govern China and say, well, listen, like, you need to put in federal regulations, take care of your citizenship,
Well, I know that China is not a first world country. That's number one. I
Mm-hmm.
think they're either third or second. I don't remember exactly what. But even if you know that that's allowed to happen there, and you are allowing it to happen through your decision to do that, you're just as culpable as the government is.
And
You
so
can choose to only hire, say, hey, I am Nike. I am in charge of this stuff. I'm only going to hire people who are 16 or higher, and I'm going to pay more than your 50 cents an hour
and
allowance. I'm
so
going to
how do you monitor
$50.
that in China?
What do you Nike? So you're telling me Nike doesn't know what's going on behind closed doors?
So you're saying that a company as big as Nike that outsources this one component to another company in China, they have to, like, is it Nike's responsibility to then have employees in China to then, like,
They're,
check IDs?
they're big enough to do it. If they want to be the standard of ethics, to set the standard for all of the
Well, I don't
companies
think
to
Nike
follow.
has ever stated that they want to be the
No, but I'm
standard of
saying
ethics.
you can make it happen. You can't just say, well, look, I mean, well, I can't tell what happens behind closed doors. Yes, you can. If you're involved in the process and you're purchasing from something and you know it's not on the up and up, then don't purchase it and
Hold
find
on,
someplace that is.
hold on. That's not entirely true. You're putting this all on the labor component. So Nike sources, they have to source all the material. They don't
Okay.
make the foams.
Right.
Those are made by chemical companies.
Right.
So so you're saying they have to go to each company that they're sourcing something from thread to like fabric material to the PIBA foam that they're using in the Alpha Fly. They have to go through every single one and say, listen, you have to be an ethical company. So we don't want you charging us that much, and we want the best material. So now let's go through, and I'm going to regulate your company to make sure that it meets my
You know what? I
regulations.
bet you they have enough sway to say that people would do it.
No, that bullshit. No
You don't
chance.
think so?
No.
You don't think so? You don't think they purchased
No.
enough to indicate that? Or they can make it just to the people who are working on their product, the things that they are making. It doesn't have to be country. It doesn't have to be like company wide. It can be very specific to their department. They can
No.
do it. They
No,
can
they
most
couldn't.
certainly do it. If you wanted it to happen, you could do it.
No, you couldn't. So what? So why wouldn't that company? So I make the PIBA foam for the best foam in running shoes.
Yep.
I make that foam through a chemical company,
Okay.
and Nike comes to me, and they say, "Listen, like I'm not 100% sure that your company is up to our ethical standards that we
Okay.
hold ourselves to. So you can either revamp your entire company to meet our ethical standards." And
They don't have to do the entire company.
hold baloney.
They just have to revamp a part of the company.
What?
The part that's making their phone. That's it.
The part, Jeremy, they're all made in these giant like chemical factories. These aren't like, okay, well listen, we only pay living wage
Look,
for this one tank.
Yep.
Yeah, that's preposterous.
It's also preposterous to think that they can't do it themselves.
So again, so I'm I'm foam manufacturer. And Nike comes to me and says,
Then buy
like
out the company.
Jeremy, that is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Is it?
Yes. There's
Why?
no way. So one, BASF for a long time was the largest foam provider in all of shoe companies.
Okay.
There is not one single company in the entire world that can buy out BASF.
False.
Name one.
Elon Musk.
He cannot. The world's richest person cannot buy out a Fortune 20 company. No.
Yep. If he
Nope.
liquidates, he can do it.
No, he cannot. So they come to me.
Point.
But hold on. They come to me and they say, you need to do this or else we're not going to do business with you. If me as foam manufacturer, chemical company, why wouldn't I just say, well, listen, like, one, I'm just going to quit making that. So whoop-de-doo. Like, I can make money elsewhere in the chemical industry. Or B, That's great. You know who doesn't have our foam? Adidas, New Balance, every other shoe company. So I'm just going to sell to them. I'll
You don't
knock you completely out of this and sell to everybody else. We've had an
you don't think that there
exclusivity
are
contract.
contracts in place for all of
Yeah,
that stuff to happen
yeah.
or not to
Everybody
happen?
has like exclusivity contracts for their material mix of foams.
Right. Brett, I don't know the best answer. I'm just telling you that if you truly, truly, truly wanted it to happen, you could find a way. Maybe it means you have to scale back a little bit. Maybe it means that you're no longer the Nike of yore and you're the Nike of ethics. I don't know.
So, but what you're saying is that Nike then has to control or own every single process of making their shoes.
Yeah, I know
Name
it's. I
like that,
don't. But I'm not. What I'm not. I'm not saying that this is even feasible. What I'm saying is like it's. It may not be feasible in a money making scenario, but if you truly wanted to be the be all and the end all of
but you
ethics, and
but you
you want to
can't
make sure
do
that
that.
everybody's doing the fair shake, you
You
can make
can't
it happen, or as
you
close to
can't do
possible
that
as
while
possible.
going out of business. Like you can't do that
I
from the
understand.
sidelines and bankrupt.
You're right, but you can make it. You could get as close to as possible. Maybe not every piece has to be like under your control, but you could find companies who would work with you, and you would work with them, and then you share a common ethic,
And so
and you would work together.
think of how complex a phone is. Now
Yeah.
shoes are nowhere this complex.
Nope.
So but they still source from, like a laundry list of other providers
I
to
know.
get them to the final result. So but you're saying a car company wants to be the most ethical and moral
Well, we're
company in the
talking about
world.
shoe companies.
I
Obviously, a
know,
car
but
company
this
has
you're
way
saying
more
every
pieces.
company can do this.
I didn't say every company. I said a shoe company could, or a clothing company would be even easier. If you don't make any shoes whatsoever, you're merely on company
So
like
so
on
how
clothing.
so okay, take it to a clothing company. How does a clothing company ethically source all of their materials?
They find companies that are ethically sourcing their own materials.
Okay. So start with the ink that's printed on the shirts.
Done. I
Okay.
personally go out to the wild fields and only pick 13% a year of those and that grow
And
back.
then
And then
what machine are you
my
using to
hands,
print?
my hands,
Mhm.
my
You
hands.
you see how this is
I
like
do, Brett.
it's beyond
I
complicated.
I understand. Maybe you don't need anything printed on it.
So this is going to be one hell of a running clothing company.
It's called the No Name Running Company, and it's not there to put a name out. It's there to give you
So it's no
quality materials that's going to
performance
last forever.
fabrics. It's
It's performance.
basically
Yes, it's definitely performance fabric, so it's
like
going to last forever.
hand hunted deer hide.
Is it going to be expensive? Yeah, but so is everything else nowadays. So
Is it?
I think for many people it is. When you're looking at an average pair of running shorts running somewhere like 50, $60, I think that's pretty damn expensive.
Okay, and so your ethical standpoint is that I want to create like high performance running shoes that people can afford, like
Mm-hmm.
anybody can afford,
Now, I didn't say
and and
anybody.
and
Sometimes you
they
have to
hold on,
sacrifice that anybody.
and they last a long time.
Okay. I know you're not going to make a lot of money if they last forever because that's shoes and you need people to continue to buy. I
Right?
get it. But you could make a pair of shoes that are, I don't know, really good and are not $250,
And how are
$180.
you going to do that while sourcing this through ethical wages and
People
not using
don't. See,
sweat plants?
you're putting me on the spot and I have no game plan in play. But to say that it can't happen is just silly.
No, I actually implicitly believe that it is physically impossible in a global economy to do anything even remotely close. The
Why does it have to be
best,
global?
because you have to source things on everything is a
United States
global
of
economy.
America,
Okay.
not U.S.
Again, so the ink, where's the ink coming from? And then the machine that you're using for any of this, where is that machine in each of its parts manufactured from?
America.
In what plants, Jeremy?
I don't know the plants and what they make. I know one plant. They use photosynthesis to create energies so that they can grow. That's the point that I know. Brad, look, I never said I have all the answers, and I never said that it's even logistically feasible,
So
but you can become more ethical. You can stop
stop what?
not paying your employees or like whatever it may be. Like,
Well, again, none of these are Nike employees. They're subcontracted
I'm
employees.
aware, but you could find another. You could find it. You could, and would it potentially lead to increased prices? Sure, but you could find a manufacturing plant that would do the things that you want them to do. That don't hire 4-year-olds to go over there and get smushed by a
Well,
machine.
again, that those days have passed, so that every one of the
Maybe.
Nike plants is audited.
Oh, see, there, like, it's already on. It's already started. I still like. Do I wear Nike stuff? Sure, I've got plenty. But are they my like number one go to brand nowadays? No.
Why?
And it's not necessary. I don't know. I don't know. I think a lot of it is like the perception that I hold of them, like that the fact that they are not as ethical as they could possibly be. So I don't know, and I don't like their gear as much as I normally like as I like some other gear. So part of it's that too.
And so is the best that you can hope for is that like the good pieces of a company outweigh the shitty ends of it?
That's all you can ever ask for. Like, I would venture to say that's for human beings as well. Like there's not one single human being out there who's perfect in any way, shape, or form. But you
Well,
like acknowledge that you accept their best values, don't and that they outweigh their negative values.
well,
So if
so
they're going around,
this is the Lance Armstrong debate.
yeah,
So Lance Armstrong ran like the biggest doping scheme
hmm,
in U.S. cycling or in worldwide cycling history,
yep,
including ruining people's careers,
hmm,
outing people,
hmm,
winning, Tour de France title after Tour de France title, enriching himself.
yep,
Like candidly, from every stretch of the imagination, from what you hear, just a complete asshole.
yeah,
So like he would burn you down to the ground. He would call you a liar. He would say he would have you kicked out of the sport in totality so that you couldn't make money. And so
yep,
the people
correct.
the people that impacted is the smallest sliver of society that you could possibly imagine.
But he has the Live Strong Foundation.
100%. And so does the good that Lance Armstrong did supersede like the 100 people in the cycling industry that he ruined their lives?
I mean, it's based on experience. I would venture to say that if they could look at it objectively, the people who he shat on, right? If they could look at it objectively, be like, well, it really sucks what happened to me, but the benefit to these people who are like battling cancer with all the research that's going on, all of the benefits that have happened. I'm glad that it happened. Like that, Livestrong's there. But did that have to happen for like another organization potentially to come up instead of Livestrong to do something similar? I don't know.
Well,
Right?
so I'll make 2 points with that. One, it's not just the Livestrong Foundation; it's even the story of hope. Like I remember when Livestrong was going haywire with the yellow Livestrong bands.
Oh yeah.
While we were in college, my mom was battling cancer at that point, and it was just the fact that there was so many people that even if they weren't directly impacted by the Livestrong Foundation, that got to look and say, wow, like this is a story of hope.
Right.
So, but if I'm the athlete that gets burned by him, say if Floyd Landis or whoever the next person is that basically just has their entire career ruined, why wouldn't I be sitting there saying, well, listen, like that's great that he did. I'm eternally thankful for everything that Livestrong Foundation has done. But what would I have done? Like I had ambitions. I could have started like my own charity on my own if I was allowed to grow and mature in the sport that I love.
But you don't have to grow and mature in the sport that you love in order to start a foundation. There
But
are
you
people who
need
do
a
all kinds.
platform. But do you think Lance Armstrong was going to have a platform without cycling?
No, but I'm saying there he might not. But people start foundations for all sorts of reasons that are quite successful without having to be the top of the top cyclist.
I know, but it's a platform to start with.
Yes, but you don't need it.
Okay, so go out and start the new Livestrong and see how well it goes.
I'm not going to start the new Livestrong because there's already a Livestrong.
I know, start the next one.
I have thought about a specific organization that's geared toward like the college admissions process. I think that it's flawed beyond flawed, and I like things need to be fixed in it.
Okay.
But I don't know where to start. I have a lot of ideas,
But I bet you would know where to start if you were the biggest cyclist in the world.
because I have the resources. Yeah,
Exactly.
but I bet you that
So
if I
like the platform isn't the end all be all, but it's a shortcut.
well, sure, but shortcuts aren't necessarily beneficial either. Sometimes they don't pan out as well as you think they're going to.
Okay, so just put it in the
Just like drugs,
fact
getting
of
caught
good
drugging,
luck.
that's a shortcut.
Right, but look at it just from like call it good luck that I happen to be the world's best basketball player. I
Okay.
happen to be like, and candidly, those people work really hard. So, but to be the world's best basketball player, chances are you probably need to be born 6'5" with a vertical leap of 36 inches at a minimum.
Yeah,
Like those people didn't do anything to develop being born 6'5" with a 36
but they had to have the
inch.
work ethic.
Oh, okay.
To get there.
I get that. So that is the lucky component. So don't just say, well, listen, it's a shortcut. It's a lucky component to provide you a platform to do something that you're passionate about.
Fair enough.
So, and everybody, if you develop this college admissions piece, you will need, like, you can attribute that to 10,000 pieces of luck, no matter how successful or unsuccessful that endeavor is. If that becomes the world's leading college admission piece and it's worth $16 trillion, there is no doubt that there will be more luck involved with that than just, say, hard work.
No, I don't discount that because like the right people have to be involved in all that stuff, and you have to find, like you said, the right platform. It's true, but it doesn't have to be that you start off as the top person to build that platform. I mean, it would probably take a lot longer for sure. I might be dead before it even comes off the ground. So,
well, and there's a reason when you're starting something, you find spokespeople that have a platform.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, look, you are the business person. I am merely an ideas person who doesn't ever follow through on anything. So, I mean,
so I don't. I mean, so to surmise this conversation, like I want the availability until Nike gives me a reason not to like Nike.
Okay.
To like Nike, and I have the option to acknowledge their flaws while also commending them for the good things that they do. And then just say, I like it. Just the same way that people like athletes that you're pretty sure are cheating.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
So, like,
I mean,
why would you want to live your entire life saying, well, listen, like my morality clause? I remember specific to Chick-fil-A. Do you remember that 5 years ago or whatever, the whole Chick-fil-A?
I mean, my sister-in-law still refuses to eat Chick-fil-A because of it.
Okay. And so my argument, I remember this vividly. Boycott them. The boycott didn't last that long because they changed their donating habits essentially overnight. So, but what's the point of boycotting them if then when they change, you say, well, I'm still not going there?
Right. I mean, then what purpose was your boycott? Right. I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like you're start doing a boycott so that they change the habit that you don't like.
And you have to like be willing to forgive.
100%.
And forget.
I don't know about forget. I don't think you have to forget.
You don't want them to go back, right? Like you don't want them to like change to like smooth over the waters and then be like, haha, like let's start sneakily like going back our old ways. You need to make sure that you hold them accountable. So don't forget.
I think one of the things that I always hear in the context of that exact conversation, even with Nike, they say, okay, well, yes, Nike changed their habit, like there's no more child labor involved in their sweatshops. Like, unfortunately, they're still involved with sweatshops, or Chick-fil-A changed their donation habits and who they associate with. But no one really changed their mind. Like, this was all a publicity stunt to get consumers back. So, which I think is just the shittiest argument in the world.
But
so you'd rather them, like, what is the end goal? Like, you can't change the way that people feel. So, but you can change how they spend money. You can change their actions through boycott.
Yeah.
So what people are like, I hear this all the time. They say, well, they didn't really change. They just changed the way that they spend money. Well, that's the fucking goal at the end of the day. Like, you can't make somebody that's racist not racist, but you can make it that they don't own slaves anymore.
You can still, like, I mean, I'm not boycotting Nike. I'm not boycotting anything, but you could still, like, find other things that you enjoy to spend your money on. Like, I don't know. I don't like Chick-fil-A. You're spending plenty of money at Chick-fil-A with your Chick-fil-A
Just yesterday. Yeah.
I mean, I love their milkshakes. Like, their peppermint milkshake during the wintertime is just thebeesknees.com/awesome. But I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Nike.
Okay.
Because they don't make wide platforms.
Is it because you don't fit in their shoes?
I think it's half of it.
Like, that's a convenient way when the shoe doesn't even fit to say, I don't like their shoes.
I like their shoes, though. To be honest, the peg has always been like not the gold standard, because there's nothing golden about the shoe, but it's a workhorse for me. Like, I know if I go pick up a peg, I know it's gonna work. Okay. It's gonna be the width that I need. It's not gonna be too soft. It's not gonna be too firm. It's just gonna work. There's no bells and whistles to it, but it's just one of those shoes that I can put on every single day and know that I'll be okay. So I do like the peg. And look, do I wear Jordans? Sure. Do I get myself Nike Dunks? Yeah. Do I like rock the cool things? Of course I do. But it's just because I want to be cool. I'm living my like young life. I still don't believe that their ethics are as good as they could be.
Oh, but do you think that their ethics are less than New Balance? Or pick said shoe company?
I would probably say less. Yeah. You don't want to know why? You know how ultra patriotic I am, right?
Yep.
Made in the USA, baby.
And New Balance has like one pair out of 100 shoes that is made in the USA.
They have,
and it's like the dad shoe. It's the lawn mowing, like 990 or whatever.
Well, the 990s are like, apparently they're the new kick as well, Brad. I don't know if you're up on it.
So are you going to go run the grandma's marathon in them?
No, not at all. Those things are
in
bricks.
The gray suede and blue.
Dude, those things are bricks. No, but I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not beholden to any one company. And if one company comes out that says, hey, we're like, they're awful, like doing these crazy bad things, I have no qualms about like kicking them out of my rotation for at least a short period of time. And even if they like rectify the things, I won't forget, like you said. I don't know. Like, it depends on how bad they were. Will I forgive? Like, I'm sorry. If you're a child rapist and you change your ways, I'm not ever going to be okay with you.
Yeah, but that's a person. That's not a company.
You don't know what a company is doing. This is not something to joke about. But aren't companies considered to be people in like the scheme of politics?
No.
They're entities, right? They're able to do what...
an entity. You're not an entity.
I am an entity.
You're a person.
Who happens to be an entity.
And your donation limits is significantly less than a corporation.
I mean, yeah, because of what they want to happen. Who knows how much money I'm worth, Brad? I mean, I do. The bank does. They haven't come knocking at my door. I'm gonna be sitting on a pile of money.
What
They're
does that have
missing
to do
out.
with donations that an individual can make versus a corporation?
Well, that's because of the laws, the way they're set up.
I have no idea what you're saying anymore.
I don't either. I'm tired. Like we're talking about politics. Who cares?
Okay. Well, Jeremy,
Brad,
I think the simple solution here is there's no right answer. Like
and
the
there's no perfect
world
company.
the world is a complicated and messy place, no different than individuals are.
Right. Although Cotopaxi does a thing where they take like the leftover pieces and odds and ends of other companies like materials and they formulate their own like stuff with it. I think that's pretty cool.
It is. People can do really cool things that come from unethical places.
Yeah, but they're making it more ethical through their like not going out and having to procure like brand new everything. Reusing is ideal. Reusing is good.
Okay, so have you seen that Nike has an entire like weight kit now with like bumper weights and everything that's made out of recycled rubber and
I didn't
plastics
see that.
from shoes?
Did you see that Brooks has a recycled like shoe program where like you can purchase lightly used shoes?
We've talked about it, I think, in episode 5.
The hell! Look at you harkening back with specifics.
I just
Huh.
threw out 5. I really don't know. But I know that we
But
talked
that's
about
pretty
it.
cool too. Like if a shoe doesn't work and there's really no like fault with the shoe, like put it back out there. Because what happens is like if a shoe doesn't work at running companies, right, running shoe stores, if a shoe doesn't work, you just bring it back, and they're like, okay, sweet, we'll send it back to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer is like, okay, well they're used now, we can't sell it back to the thing. What are they doing with it? I mean, that's a perfect solution.
So isn't that just a way for Brooks to make more money off of shoes that have been
Well, they
returned to
have
them?
to. Well, it's not more money because they have to refund the money back to the company. So
Okay, but that was a product, so they have their refund policy,
yep,
which they have one of the best refund policies in the entire game.
they
I think
do.
it's a 90-day return policy. Like you
Yep.
can just wear them for 90 days and then return them for a new pair.
Hey, don't tell people that because then Brooks will go out of business.
I realize, but that is the policy.
Yeah.
And so Brooks, that shoe now is lost. Like that revenue is completely lost. Mm-hmm. And now they've found a way for that lost revenue to be turned into some money.
But Brad, they're not selling those beat down shoes that have 400 miles on them.
I understand, but if you return a shoe because it doesn't fit, that money, this is the only way that they can capitalize again off of that shoe.
How are they I mean, they have to possibly, but I don't see them making money off of this scenario outside of the original purchase, because they're selling it at a discount. So they're refunding the person or giving them a brand new pair of shoes.
I get it. So right. So the person A buys the shoe, whatever the Brooks shoe is, a glycerin. They buy it for $140. $150.
Okay.
Then returns it lightly used.
Right. 30 miles on it. They took it out for a week. It didn't work.
Brooks, predating this program, made $0 on this and now lost because they give them another shoe, correct?
Right.
So now this shoe that like they sold it for $150, but their margin, that's probably a $40 shoe or less to Brooks.
Let's just say $40.
Okay. So
let's make it easy, $50. So it's 33%. Yeah, let's just make it 50 so it's all even. Okay.
So this shoe was worth $50. Now, there's still $50 up in giving him another pair of shoes. Correct? They've now invested $100 into $150 of shoe to this person.
Okay. But they're only at 33% instead of 66% profit.
Correct. For this one customer. And now this shoe that they previously did nothing with gets sent back to Brooks and they sell it for how much?
$120.
Okay, so they turned a shoe that was worth nothing into $120 a margin.
Yes, but they're not making as much from that shoe. Like, so yes,
But they're
originally
making
that yes,
they're
I
making
get what you're saying.
125% more than without the program.
I understand. Yes, you're right. They are making more. They're making more money back. It's probably because they were eating so much that they had to find a way to recoup some of that loss.
Well, I think it gives I think there's probably like a giant narrative there that one, it just boosts their bottom line.
Yeah.
Priority number one. Number two, they get people into Brooks that couldn't afford to be Brooks, and you hope
Right.
to then build a lifetime customer. So if you sell it to them at a decreased margin, and they really like the shoe and they buy another one that they were never going to buy your shoe to begin with, win win
Yep.
win.
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but I don't. It's not like they're like like they're not selling two pairs of shoes for the price like one pair of shoes for the price of two. They're selling two pairs of shoes for the price of 1 3/4.
I get that, but there's margin built
I
into
get
there.
it. I get it.
So in the like predating this program, all it was a pile of trash on their floor.
I bet you they donated that trash, whatever it was, or recycled it or did something with it.
Okay, so from an ethical standpoint, wouldn't it make more sense if they just kept donating those lightly used shoes instead of selling them for a better profit?
Yeah, but then what happens? Maybe they're able now with this new program to hire more people because they're making more money.
Okay, what about all the people that were in Brooks that could never afford it, and that's their only pair of running shoes that they've ever gotten in their life because it was just donated to them? Now that doesn't happen.
I'm sure that they still donate shoes, Brad. I bet you there are shoes that are defective that are too used to sell back in that specific
Okay, yeah.
program that are
My
still
point is that this was a financially driven decision. Is it a good
maybe.
decision? Like
Yeah, I think it's a
what
great decision. But
everything
you
that
can't look
they
at the motive. You have to again. It's like that. You can't look at the motive. You have to look at the purpose. Like what is the cause effect relationship here? Who cares about the motive?
Okay, but the cause effect was actually better when they were just donating the lightly used shoes to people who couldn't afford them in the first place.
What makes you think they were just donating? Maybe they had like
You just told me
swaps or
that.
something. I didn't say that. I didn't know that they were. I said they could have been donating or recycling or whatever. I didn't know that. I don't know what they were specifically doing. I would venture to say that they've donated some. I would venture to say they still donate some.
Sure,
So,
just
I
not the
don't know.
ones that they can sell and make money on.
Okay. And are they a company? Don't you want people to be able to pay other people to do stuff?
Well, they operated before without having to do that.
But maybe now they're a publicly traded company and they have to like sell more shoes. I don't know.
I think they're owned by private equity, but who's counting?
You, obviously.
Well, Jeremy, this has gone on way too long.
It has. You're right. I think part of it was because of how ridiculous you were at the beginning of this podcast.
Some might say it was the best part of the podcast.
I bet you people get past the fun part. You're like, oh God.
Ethics in running? Count me out. Snooze fest.
I think you need to put the penis as part of as the thumbnail for this one. Ethical, or is it art?
Good. You are truly. I wouldn't be surprised if you start just cheating from here on out.
I mean, I'm going to do something to catch up with you, Brad. It's not going
Tier.
to happen. I mean, at some point, diminishing returns, right? Like at some point, your fitness is not going to go up as quickly as mine will. So I will catch up at some point. Like it'll be like mine will be going up and yours will be plateauing a little bit. So I'll catch up a little bit,
But
but I'll
then I
never.
fit into shoes that make me faster, according to you.
I mean, Brad, you can't discount that.
You can't discount that I'm in a completely different age group than you.
I do. That's why you get 10 minutes for the Boston. But that was not part of our agreement.
Because you wouldn't give it to me, despite the fact that I'm
Because
rightfully entitled to such.
I don't think you're 3 years.
Okay, well, I don't think that my shoes help you help
Do you
me
think
more than
3
you.
years indicates 10 minutes?
Yes,
That is ridiculous.
it's a fact.
3 years does not indicate 10 minutes.
It does.
You're ridiculous.
Look
No,
at the
it doesn't.
I'm going to pull up all the metrics for our next run.
You do that.
Age group qualifying, and if at 45 years old, all of a sudden they're like 3 times the other age groups, I'll give you 10 minutes.
Sick. Okay. So 3 times?
3 times. So it's just like, like 500 people, 500 people, 500 people, 2,045 to 50, and then it just goes right back down.
But you can't say that 10, like, does it go 10 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? Is it 3:30 at 50?
I don't know. There's a mathematical equation why they're coming up with these times.
I understand it, and I know smarter people are working on it or have worked on it than I have, but I find it hard to believe that 10 minutes in 3 years, 10 minutes in 1 year. So you're saying the person who's 44 should be able to run 10 minutes faster than somebody who's 45.
Well, I'm guessing if you looked at that curve, so at each age group, the youngest end of that 5-year span is the most qualifiers, and it decreases.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
And then it keeps doing that curve.
That makes sense. But that's dumb. So it's skewed toward the young.
Of each age group.
Yeah, but it's still skewed toward the young.
Okay. Either way, it's skewed towards you versus me.
Not skewed toward me. It's way harder for me to get it than it is for you.
Jeremy, that's not true.
It is true.
It's not.
It's coming from a sub 3-hour marathoner to somebody who hasn't broken 3:15. So
right. And you're saying that because you've never qualified, that it's harder for you than me. Obviously. Even though that a couple of years ago, like at some point, we'll be in the same age group.
Yep.
And I'll say, but I'm at the bottom end of the age in that age group.
I can't wait to run the same age group again. I'm going to crush.
I'll still be entitled to my time.
As will I. And I'm going to sit there and I'm like,
no, my time between you and me.
I'm going to sit there and I'm going to just run on your shoulder the entire time. You're going to turn back to me and try to talk to me. And I'm going to be like, and I'll kick you.
Okay.
Anyway, guess what, Brad?
I don't even want to hear it. You've disappointed me today.
I don't care.
You're looking for a love you, but you're not getting it from this. Not from this mouth.
You know, I love you, Bradford.
You know that penis was just happened to be right at that same spot.
Not on my screen.
Yeah, it was. It was right there.
Yeah, but
I wish it came across screens.
My face is not right there. It's over here.
Okay. Jeremy.
Bradford.
Love you, bud.
Love you, bud.
See ya.
See ya.